The Mud Shark Incident, Led Zeppelin. There's a lot of different variations on this story. Carmine Appice is privy to some, though I could tell in the interview he was sick of talking about it. And I don't blame him. I'm not saying he wants to rehash the same story because it's a salacious story, as you'll find out on Rock History Music. Led Zeppelin, Vanilla Fudge, Carmine Appice, and a lot more on Rock History Music. The Mud Shark Incident involving Led Zeppelin is a notorious and controversial story from the early 70s. Now, the incident allegedly took place at the Edgewater Inn in Seattle, Washington, where guests were allowed to fish from their hotel rooms. According to various accounts, members of Led Zeppelin, along with some road crew and groupies, engaged in a really wild party. The most famous version of the story involves drummer John Bonham and bassist John Paul Jones using a freshly caught mud shark, or possibly a red snapper as various stories suggest, in a very blankety-blank explicit prank involving a groupie. The incident was supposedly photographed or filmed, but that evidence has never been publicly verified. The story was popularized by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention in their song The Mud Shark from the album Fillmore East, June 1971. Despite its legendary status and rock folklore, a lot of details remain kind of murky, and the accuracy of the account is often debated. And as most old rock and roll stories, the participants and witnesses have offered varying recollections, while some have downplayed the whole thing as more of an outrageous rock and roll tale. The Mud Shark Incident. Led Zeppelin.
The Mud Shark Incident became a historical part of rock and roll that was on VH1. It was on the Shocking Moments of VH1 and all that. I could say it was a groupie that I found, and she would do anything to hang out with the bands, including that. And I told Frank Zappa about it in the Chicago airport. He wrote a song about it on his Live at the Fillmore. So it was a real historical event back then, and became a historical legendary event, you know.
When you were in Vanilla Fudge, knowing what you know now, what would you tell that kid playing the drums? What would you tell him? Would you change anything?
I would say, try and find, don't worry about making it, to be a rock star. Try and make it a living out of music. I still say that today. A lot of people, being a rock star today is like kids grow up and one kid says, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. Another kid says, I want to be a rock star. It's almost like, they have these schools, Musicians Institute and everything, and the kids go there so they can have a shot at being a rock star, I think, anyway, because a lot of rockers came out of that. The Berklee School of Music, a lot of successful musicians came out of there. So it's almost like the college to become a rock star, or jazz star, but there's no guarantee. Versus if you become a doctor, there's a pretty good guarantee you're going to do well. So I just say now, if I do clinics, and I'm about to start doing speaking gigs, motivational speaking instead of clinics. It's really almost the same thing, you're instructing and talking in front of audiences, and, so I have so much experience with that. I'm going to start doing that. And my topic is being opportunistic, which I've had to do all my career. When I see opportunity, I take it, but I also see what else I can do with it. Like the guitars, like I saw the opportunity, I went after it, I got it, but then it's been out and everything, so now I took the opportunity to re-release it all. I found new tracks, unreleased tracks, and I'm re-releasing it all. So it really, if I'm taking the opportunity and making another opportunity, and that's what I've done all my life, because I never had a giant band. Like I never played in a Van Halen or a Queen or anything that where I played there all my life. Yeah. My longest gig with anybody was with Rod Stewart, 7 years. It was amazing for those 7 years. Had that kept going like that, I probably wouldn't have done Guitars. But I was always looking for opportunities and different things to do, especially after Blue Murder. I love playing with Tony Franklin. I love playing the Blue Murder stuff. It was the way it ran, the band broke up. But so getting Kelly and Tony, who were in Blue Murder, we have traces of Blue Murder in the Guitars.
If people tell me, tell stories. When you said that about your clinic, everybody wants to hear the story.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead.
I mean, I want to do it for corporate speaking, corporate thing. I also have a rock history speaking thing where I go over rock history from the 60s up until, I don't know, maybe the 90s or something. Just where all the history happened, where all the big grand bands were established,
When Keith Moon passed, I don't know why in my mind I was stuck that I'm going, they're going to get Carmine to fill in. I don't know why. I couldn't get that. I'm going, Carmine's the guy.
Well, they actually, I was with the Coin Management at the time, that I was asked, would you be interested to joining the Who? And I said, yeah, I would love to join you. But I was with Rod at the time, and that was it. That's as far as I heard. But I was definitely willing to do it, and then they got Kenny Jones instead.
If you want to contribute to the channel, there's a PayPal link at the very top of the description. Also a link there for the brand new Cactus album that Carmine has just released with an all-star cast. You can join our Patreon. You'll get early access to all our videos. And go to our swag store. You can pick up a t-shirt at T-Top, a coat, hat, and a lot more with our logo on it. Subscribe to our channel, share our videos, comment on them, and like them as well. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take care of yourself.